bass again. Maybe some largemouth. Really need to be catching largemouth. There's a tournament this weekend, but white bass are too fun. We'll see y'all in the water. We have made it down to Bluffview Marina. Flip this camera around so you guys can see. There you are. And we're probably gonna go put in over here. Bluffview Marina, located on beautiful Clearwater Lake, Piedmont, Missouri, 2 miles from my front door. Let's go get on them. Y'all are about to witness a one-man launch of a Skeeter bass boat. Plugs are in, everything's unhooked, of course except for the short strap on the front. Got just enough leeway to back this baby in, about right there. And there you have it. We have the helix just getting fired up. Got some down imaging coming onto the screen. While it's loading up, we're going to run up across the lake, try to get in those white bass I got into yesterday. Let's see what happens. There's 10 foot deep, 9 foot deep. We get out here to the end of the docks. We'll let her fly, let them horses sing, all 149 of them. There's a pretty good little ball structure right there with a bass on top of it. That right there is a bass. Those right there are carp. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we're getting close to the spot. I'm going to graph over this flat. There's a big hump over here. And normally up on that hump, you'll see these white bass hanging out up there. They're busting shad. Some pretty big balls of shad up there too. Should have been some largemouth in there, but I haven't ran across any yet. But I'm sure we can get into a few white bass, so hang tight. Got deep water on both sides. Cuts around. This is out in the middle of the main lake, okay? There's a pretty good hump here. It goes from here to here. It's kind of long and narrow shaped. It comes up out of, well, you can see 21 foot now. It'll get actually 13 and a half, 14 foot deep in here, right off the side of that drop. Working all around the edge of it, and about 16 to 17 foot of water is where this big, huge school white bass, which you're going to see them on this graph here shortly. You can see this bottom change. Let me get a different view here. You can see this bottom change? See how it's kind of choppy through here, and then it gets real bright and dense right here. It went from soft bottom to hard bottom just now. We went through a transition there. We're right on the edge of the point now, or the offshore hump. Look, we're already seeing some fish. Look at the fish in there. Yes, that's a pretty good little cluster of bass in there. Several whites. Now that is what we're looking for right there. Oh yeah. All the way through the water column here, you've got 17 foot deep, all the way up there, reaching up to almost 8 foot deep in there. This is all white bass. Every bit of that's white bass. Go to a different screen here. Well, if you look at the sonar, you can see them all on sonar. It's painting them right up. On down imaging, you just got a huge school of white bass all in here. And if we go to our map, right up on top of the hump. Now see, we're in 14 foot of water now. So this is my bass. I'll show you here. Got one rod out over here, one rod out over here. I'm watching depth up front. The helix is still on. I'm keeping my bearings where I'm at on this hump and where the school's at, because the school moves around a lot. Once I locate that school, I can come through. The wind's actually blowing in my face, dead away from the dam, which is, I wish it was blowing the other way. But I'm going into the wind, and as I go into the wind, control of both these baits, and they're both pretty good sized swim baits, through this school of white bass. You will obviously know get hit. Now, that being said, I'm swimming a 3-inch Berkley power shad, or swim shad. They're a pre-rigged shad that Berkley Power Bait sells. I like the scent that Berkley gives. I think the fish bite it and hang on to it a little bit better than other brands. But yeah, I could be throwing a 16th ounce jig, or a beetle spin, or a rooster tail. I could be throwing a lot of things right now, probably slamming these white bass. But you want to sit there and catch, 20 or 30 6-inch fish before you. I got distracted. I'm watching this pole. It just got a hit. But anyway, where do you want to catch 10 or 12 quality fish? I'd rather catch the 10 or 12 quality fish. I'm not catching these fish to eat. I got those 4 the other night, cleaned up. Purely fun fishing now. So we're going to troll over this a few times, and as the sun gets lower, the fish should turn on. A lot of times these fish will eat that, and when they hit, they'll just go, you won't even know it sometimes. They'll just, hold on. There he is. All right. Man, I caught him right under the boat. Oh. And that's the size white bass you catch on a 3-inch swim bait. 3-inch swim jig, Berkley, nice white. Set this down. Ooh, their gill plates are so sharp. All right, a good one. Boy, isn't he a pretty fish? Look how gold their eyes are. Their eyes are so gold colored. Just a good looking fish. Hard fighting, fast swimming, really fun. Just, I mean, an absolute blast to catch. Let's let him go back in there. Ease him down in the water here. Alright. The old head jerk. Now, did you see that he spit out? It's floating out there. Big old hunk of shad, half eaten. If I got it into that fish, right as we come off the school, we're way off where we need to be now. There's a fly underwater. Yeah, it's crawling around on my screen. Alrighty. See if we can get some more. So we've changed tactics a little bit. I've actually moved to the back of the boat because I need to see that. I am anchored out on that hump, and I can see which direction based on this is oriented north. So if I cast north-northeast, depth is 13 foot here. I'm looking at this line right here. 50 foot is that much. So just shy of this waypoint right in here is where the fish are working. From here all the way around here, that school is just working all this flat. So I want to cast this way. This is where I keep consistently seeing them. So basically what we're doing here, and we're going to see what we can come up with if I don't eat the bait myself. Here I am trying to catch white bass. You got this jackwagon. We're here every evening. He comes in here, big, sounds sweet, I ain't gonna lie. V8, open headers, always sounds good. American muscle, right? But every evening you'll be sitting here fishing, be so peaceful, all of a sudden that son of a gun will fire up and it'll echo off these hills for 10 minutes after he goes through. But we're gonna keep fishing. Here we go. We shut her down. Two bites since I caught that other one, and I think I'll pull this anchor and go back to trolling. I was doing better trolling than I was anchored out being stationary. So, and I'm not seeing the fish on the graph or school on the graph. I'm in the wrong spot anyway. If you're not on the fish, it's kind of hard to catch them. So that's, and when you got one of those running around the lake, that kind of makes it a little bit harder too. White bass have pretty much all but quit biting. I got one more bite since I said that before. And anyway, we're gonna head up the lake. You know, we're right at the end of summer, getting into that summer-fall transition. We're gonna try to catch some largemouth that are going up shallow for the fall transition. That's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna hit a couple spots. We've got maybe an hour and a half before dark. That's what we're gonna shoot for. Hang tight. One of my most favorite things to do out here now that I'm catching them in these spots is, you can see this. This is a Texas rigged 10.5-inch old monster zoom worm in plum, of course. Plum's a good color just about any lake. Some colors work better than others, but you can pretty much search fish with a plum color and do pretty good. Or Junebug. Junebug is also a good color. Of course, your pumpkins, watermelons, all your naturalistic colors that imitate bluegill and other bait fish, they're going to be good go-tos as well. But plum is probably my favorite. I have the most confidence in this lure, and I think that makes a huge difference, is having confidence in a bait. Even if that bait's never been thrown on that lake and nobody's catching fish on that, or you may reel it a little slower or a little faster or work it a little differently, because you have confidence in that lure, that's part of what catches you fish. What we're doing here, going after largemouth and Kentuckies, and you'll get a very rare occasional smallmouth. You see this main lake point that comes out, boom. Then you've got a cut and it comes around, boom. You've got another point right up here. Any point, all these points through here, you've got one down there, one on down there. And this, I mean, this is all the way around the lake, not just this fork of it. All on the lake, you want to be fishing these main lake points. If you notice, you'll see far, here's my trolling motor in front of my boat. It may look like I'm closer than I really am, but I'm probably 35 yards, maybe 40 yards, max. I'd say 35 yards off of the bank. That's so I can cast, and when I cast out there, I can drop it close to the bank, but not right up on the bank, and bring it out, and I'll work that worm slowly all the way back to the boat. Lift, let it drop, lift, let it drop. And kind of a new technique I've been using. I've Texas rigged a lot of 7-inch worms and put, you know, the brush hogs and lizards and everything else, and done pretty good, but I've never fished one of these great big giant worms. And it's a finesse tactic, and if you're not already doing it, don't be like me, jump on the gun and start using a big worm. Texas rigged, it works. So here we are. Of course, I don't have a GoPro, I'm not fancy, I don't have all this stuff, so I have to put my phone, which is what I'm recording with, in my pocket while I'm trying to fish. I'm no joke. Look, I'm still here. My boat's aimed a little bit different. I turned it upstream, or not upstream, but upwind rather. Anyway, third cast, right off that rock right there, but out in there. Look what I got. Nice little largie. Yeah. Right. So I paused the video and got him up out of the water. And this fish has been caught a couple times. So, I mean, I don't know, he's probably maybe 13, 14 inches. Maybe I should tie a topwater on. Anyway, decent little fish, not bad. We've got a multi-species evening, and I will take it. Let him go. There he goes. Maybe he can get another hole in his mouth. Tomorrow, I have a tournament up at Council Bluff, and I should be pre-fishing up there, but I'm not. I'm fishing here because there was a great white bass bite yesterday. Today they have just, and there hasn't been a cold front or anything. I don't know what the deal is. They've just shut down. So, you know, I just caught that one fish, and when the fish shut down or they move, you gotta go where the fish are, or try a different species, or do something different. They say the definition of insanity is repeatedly doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And you can't do that and expect different results unless you got a weather front coming in and the fish just all of a sudden start feeding. If you're seeing them on the graph, that's different. But anyway, big tournament this weekend down here at Clearwater. I'll probably end up trying to fish it. Those guys are pretty good. I just fixed the worm back. I'm running a glass bead, and I think that's a 3/8 ounce weight on this Texas rig worm. And when it falls in the water, check out this action. So I'm going to drop this baby down in the water. See that tail? Look at that tail movement. I mean, you barely move this thing and it just swims so well. And you'll get a reaction bite, even if the fish aren't biting. They'll come out and they'll eat that. They cannot resist that worm. If you get it up in their face, Big Mama's gonna take it. Alright, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's a whole lot darker, or getting darker out here than what it looks. Sun's already kind of started to set. I'm gonna run over to like 2 more points and hit them and try to catch a fish. If I hook into one, I'll bring you guys out. If not, then I'll go on to the boat ramp. I'm not going to spend much more time out here. The mosquitoes are already eating me up and my ankles are itching. Another marina here, but look out here. This is another main lake point. There's a main lake. This slough goes all the way back in behind the marina and around. Nice sharp point. That's where your bass are going to be located. And this drops off 25 foot of water. Pretty deep. Big chunk rock. Great spot to throw a 10.5 inches in one monster. So I said I was going to bring y'all back out if I caught anything. I just had one about 3 pound. Anyway, caught him right up through there. He come to right here. I'm digging the phone out of my pocket and he flops right off as soon as I bring him to the surface. 17, 18-inch fish. That's all right. That just means he's still in here for the tournament Saturday. Oh well. All right, guys. I've got the interior lights on the boat. Hopefully you can see me. I don't know. It's just getting too dark to video. Our weekend tournaments down here on Clearwater are night tournaments, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So, which we don't use a lot of lights. I mean, we've got the interior lights like this and my deck lights up here, and I've got the same lights back by the live wells. And a couple little handheld flashlights, spotlight in case of an emergency. Other than that, and your running lights, you know, of course, your red, green front, and the, I don't know if you can see it, the pole light that's glowing right there. It is just too dark to really record well. So I'm gonna head back to the boat ramp, load this thing up, and hope you guys tune in for the next video. There's a few boats out here, crappie fishing it looks like, and then you see the lights over at the dam. You got to get back and get my batteries charged on the boat so I can be ready for the tournament tomorrow, which I may try to record some of that. Alright, so the slot on Council Bluff, which is the lake I'm fishing the tournament tomorrow, is they have to be under 12 or over 15. So the 12 to 15-inch fish are not even legal to put in the boat. You have to immediately release them. Naturally, you may catch 60 or 70 bass in an evening. It's insanely awesome, especially a topwater bite. It is so fun. But the problem is, you'll catch a bunch of these slot fish, and you'll catch a bunch of them under. And on underfish, you're wanting those 11 and a half, 11 7/8, 11 3/4 inch fish to fill up your bag, because a lot of times, this sounds crazy, but a lot of times, top weigh-in, first place may only be 3 pounds. If you can catch one overfish, one 15-inch plus fish, that fish alone could win you the tournament sometimes. Sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 brought in. You're talking anywhere from 12 to 15 boats. But if you can catch, that's the goal, is to catch one overfish, one fish over 15 inches. Hope you all have learned a little bit, or at the bare minimum, at least enjoyed watching the video here. Not many people make videos, fishing videos here on Clearwater Lake and Council Bluff. Here in southeast Missouri, there's just not a lot of stuff going on. That's what I'm trying to bring out with RIVERBILLIES. So anyway, y'all hit the like button, subscribe, do what you can. You comment below any questions or anything, and I'll try to keep putting these videos up. This is Ricky Ork with RIVERBILLIES Outdoors. Tight lines and sling some lead. Y'all be safe out there. She's purty. Look at her sparkle and shine.